Tell you what, it was exciting to win a homecoming football game. I believe that was our 7th in a row at homecoming. Nice to keep that streak alive. I got to start it with offense. There's, nobody I'm more proud of than Nick Fanuzzi, who got his opportunity to start and to come into that game and just take advantage of the play. I mean, to throw for 405 yards and just to really lead the offense down the field, made plays where we had to. Really proud of him. Same with Taylor Cook filling in for Luke Wilson. Thought he had a big time football game where he took advantage of his opportunity to make plays, and he did. Keyshawn Carrington filling in for Eric Ball at center. He actually really played a fabulous game also. So proud of the young men that had those opportunities to play, that they made the best of it. You can never say enough about what Tyler Smith does for this football team, and the role Turner Peterson is now playing in the owl and running at quarterback and at running back. He's really makes us tick, and he's really a physical runner. And then what Vance McDonald did for us with his 8 receptions and his 13-yard run, but that was magnificent. We hit a rhythm. I thought we were physical. Thought we made plays when we had to. We didn't have very many penalties on the game, but we had those 2 late offensively, and overcame those to score. So thrilled offensively. Defensively, I think Bryce Callahan, with his 2 picks, I know that gives him 5 on a year as a redshirt freshman. He gets better each week, and I really thought overall our linebackers played really well. Corey Frazier at the other safety set the edge nice. UTEP have been averaging 161 yards a game rushing, and the defense held them to 98. Special teams, Chris Boswell, got to get his field goals. He was 2 of 2, and that's, ultimately he hate to kick field goals in the red zone, but was glad he made those 2 when he had the chance. So we got to continue to improve on, some deep ball security. We have to we got to get the hang time back on the kickoffs that we weren't getting Saturday night, but was really thrilled to come out of there with a conference victory at home. Northwestern will be a challenge for us heading into Big Ten country. We understand Persia may be hurt, but the other young man is a fabulous athlete. They're leading the Big Ten in passing, and they're just a solid Northwestern football team. It's what we need to aspire to become. They're solid everywhere, offensively, defensively, and special teams, and they don't give up big chunks of yardage. Defensively, they're solid, and they just are very consistent offensively. That's really why they beat Nebraska. They ran the ball effectively, they threw it effectively, they played solid defense. But anyway, proud of this football team and proud of the way those young men played.
When you looked at going back to the news, somebody mentioned after the game that the last touchdown he threw, the patience and the wait for Randy to get open and just that poise that he had the whole game. Can you just talk about, for a guy that hadn't really been as involved this year, to be able to come in and do what he's done?
Yeah, he did. He showed a lot of poise in the pocket. Just not on that throw. You look back. Nick's always had he's not afraid to get the big hit in the pocket. He is standing there and release the ball. At the last second. If you think back a year ago when he did the same thing against UH, where he stood in the pocket, delivered it, took the big hit. That's one of Nick's, absolute strong points. The great thing in that football game is we had no turnovers offensively. That's what we had been lacking this year. I thought because of Nick and the way he threw the ball, and if you look, he ran the ball very effectively also. He kept the chains moving. We had big plays. We had the amazing thing in that game, our longest play drives always ended up field goals. We didn't get any big plays on them, but Nick still consistently moved the chains, and that's what he's got to do. He had great ball security. He played with a lot of confidence and poise, and when we needed him the most, he was there to make the plays for us, and he did that for 4 quarters.
Speaking of need, the defense, you get 2 interceptions late when you needed them when they were on a drive. Just talk about this, those 2 situations.
Well, the second one that Bryce made, I really thought was a big momentum changer for us to put into that drive there. All turnovers are absolutely critical, the 2 interceptions on the day. That has a lot to do with keeping UTEP's offense off the field, and the defense pulled them to 98 yards rushing just because they had so few opportunities to play offense. So that was a big time. I thought it gave us a lot of momentum at that point in the football game.
You've mentioned the field, cashing in when you need, taking advantage of that. I was looking on the stats. I think you guys you're still up in the top percentage of red zone scoring, but I think it's 26 of 29, but 16 of them touchdowns. Can you just kind of talk about?
Yeah, we were 5 of 5 the other night, but 2 of them were field goals. And if you can finish those drives out with the touchdowns, and that's not where they're onside kicking at the end of that one. I mean, that's how critical those drives are, and that's been a point of emphasis to come out of there. But once again, you see how critical those field goals can be in a tight ball game. And Chris Boswell is one of the finest in the country. He's missed 2 this year. I think one was a 55-yarder against Baylor, and one was a slip on a wet field. He's as accurate of any young man I've ever been around. But yeah, we want touchdowns in those, and then we don't have these onside kicks that Vance McDonald gets to win it at the end.
You talk about it's a non-conference opponent in Northwestern and all that, but you cross paths all the time in recruiting. It's a big game just off the field too. I mean, when you present, to the kids that you want to bring here, just the head-to-head matchup. I would imagine that if you come out with a win would help you out.
Well, too, I think I read they had 5 young men from Houston on that football team. So there's going to be a lot of guys on our team that know them. I know Corey Frazier from Minnesota has a teammate that plays, a high school teammate that plays for Northwestern now. And we see him all the time in recruiting, because we're both the universities that are looking for the true student athletes. I think that they've done an absolute great job of attracting. And you look at their schedule, you look at what they're accomplishing now. That's what I meant earlier. We aspire to be like them. They're competitive in the Big Ten. They're competitive when they go out of conference, and it would be a huge shot in the arm for us, be a 4th win to go there and get a win on the road.
And with the dual threat quarterback that they have, it's just trying to contain one aspect of it. I would imagine making one.
Yeah, if it's Persia last year was the difference in the game. He threw, it was 397. We played really solid defense last year, and at halftime defensively, we'd only given up 2 field goals, and I believe it was the 68th play a year ago before they scored their first touchdown. So we hung with them for a long time. You would like to go down there and really compete. And like I said, though, they're just so solid. They take care of the football. They tackle defensively. And coming off a big win at Nebraska, they're going to have a lot of confidence.
How about for you offensively? It's in the last couple of games. It seems like it's starting to find that rhythm. And Nick played well, but it's got to be encouraging now heading on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that prior to that, I thought that game was the one where we did achieve the rhythm for 4 quarters. I thought we'd achieved it. Against Marshall like in the 3rd quarter, but we didn't maintain it for the entire football game. I think that'll give us tremendous confidence. We didn't give up a sack in that game. I think it'll give us tremendous confidence going into Northwestern that we just played our best game offensively of the year. And you look to, you think we'll have a chance to get Luke Wilson back this week. I think we'll have a chance to get Sam back this week. We'll have to see. I haven't got anything on Eric Ball yet, but I think we may get some guys back, and that would help.
Coach, especially after what happened at the U of H, to come out and play that way, and then afterwards you could hear the locker room guys tell her just the swing and maybe emotion. How different was that just to be in there?
Locker rooms are a lot of fun when you win. That's how you do it. The highs are just, they're so high when you see those, the kids singing the fight song and doing their cheers. That's why you do it. And when you get beat, there's not a worse experience when you look in their eyes and they're down, and you feel like you're the reason you let them down, and that's what motivates you though to go back to work that Sunday to try to get those kids to experience that feeling. It was a tribute this week. We truly did have our best week of practice. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they were completely focused. They knew we were going into a game, but if we played well and were accountable to each other, we could come out on top. And that's what we did. We played like we practiced all week.
mean, in practice, was it a matter of, I mean, was it just the aggressiveness,
Well, you know, it was everything. It was, you know, people drawing a line in the sand of coaches. You know, every team makes mistakes. And if you make them, though, you got to overcome them. We'd make them, we hadn't been overcoming them. We still made them the other night, but I think we just showed a lot of grit. I think the seniors, John Joffrey, you know, Michael Smith, Xavier Webb, Jake Hicks, Tyler Smith. You know, we had some good meetings of just how this week, the rest of this season was going to go. I thought they took great ownership in holding their peers accountable. I thought the coaches put together nice game plans. We had to continue, you know, to build off what we just did and get this football team better every play. You know, starting today when we bring them over here and introduce them to Northwestern. Chuck, anybody coming?
in the conference, I mean, it kind of.
That's great. First time this year, you know, that's great for Rice University and great for this football team. I look forward to letting him know and letting this team know in our meeting today.
Do you, just with him, you know, his career here, obviously it's kind of had its moments, and then last year, I think you alluded that almost a year ago, the Tulane game where he had some turnovers, and this year you talked about, you know, whoever's going to be a quarterback would have that edge based on ball security, and just for him to overcome these things and not have the job and then get put in there and do what he's done. Can you just kind of talk about that and how he's taking that?
You know, going into his senior year, he was never a distraction. All he was trying to do was help Taylor get better. You know, he never felt sorry for himself. He just came over here, knew he had lost the job. You know, in football, you always be ready. You have to be ready for when opportunity comes back your way. And, you know, Nick continued to practice hard. He continued to have a great attitude. He continued to be a student of the game. And when opportunity came his way, he made the absolute best of it. And, you know, he's now the starting quarterback at Rice University. And we need him to continue to play with the consistent level that he just played at. And just, you know, that's what being on a team's all about. You know, there's got to be first team, there's got to be second team. You can't be always happy in your role, but if that's your role, you better be the best at it. And you also better go to work trying to figure out how to beat the starter.
I think you also mentioned with Bryce, just what he's done, 5 picks, I mean, first year, you know, it looks like the sky's the limit for what he could do here.
You know, he's really, he's fun to watch him in coverage. You know, he's exactly what you want your corners to be like, because when he gets beat, he has the shortest memory in the world. You know, and he lines back up the next play, and he's ready to go again to prove he's the best in the world. And that's the kind of attitude you have to have out there. And he's perfect at it. He's very competitive. He enjoys the one-on-ones of the game. He enjoys competing every snap. You know, he's won a lot more of his share this year. You know, you got 3 years left with him, and he's already a special player, and he continues to work the way that he does. He'll go from good to great.
Did you notice anything on the special team, on the coverage unit
Yeah, actually, when you're on kickoff coverage and you have a decision to make on if somebody's forcing you out, you have to attack your leverage that way. You do have the option also to beat them with speed, but if you beat them with speed, you better get back in your lane, and we didn't do that. Had 2 young men tried to beat them with speed, didn't do it, and it opened a big seam for us.
With them coming off with Northwestern coming off the type of win that they had, is there anything too that going up there, you just try to get on them early, so maybe that creeps into their mind, you know, that whole letdown factor next week?
I don't think there'd be a letdown. I think they'd be very confident. But when you go on the road, you know they're going to get your best shot, and you've got to make plays early, try to get the crowd out of it. And, you know, if you go on the road and get the crowd out of it and get them quieted, it always increases your opportunities. But I don't think with Northwestern, you know, beating Nebraska is going to have any bearing on this one. They'd had some big wins. That was their 2nd win in a row. And I think they'll be ready to go. I mean, we had a competitive ball game with them a year ago, and I think they'll be ready for us. Come on in, John. Get your motorcycle started.
No, I gotta bring it to the shop.
Did you wear your helmet?
Well, I drove my car, so.
Okay. All right, come on up, you're up.